As a historian, I can't lie to them. As a historian, I got to tell them the truth. And the truth is that those bare knuckle fighters, those miners that were working on the mines in the UK and in Ireland, they used to have these terriers and these bulls that used to do bull baiting and, rat terriers getting rats and stuff like that. When that got banned, those bare knuckle fighters, they put their dogs to fight, and that was the birth of dog fighting. They were looking for the best fighting dog, and they stumbled. They just fell into something that they didn't know they were working with. Without knowing, they were selecting the dogs for the best fighter to best fighter. They realized that the dogs that were bullies, that showed their teeth and act like they wanted to hurt somebody, those dogs were quitters. They were fake. They were hollow. Those bullies were the dogs that act like bullies were actually not the real deal. That the real dogs had something that they stumbled with again, that it was the fact that courage, what they were looking for. They understood that courage was necessary to win. Because if you had a good fighter, a good biter, and a good dog, they needed a good scratcher. The good scratcher means the dog had courage to come out of the corner even when he was behind. Even when he was facing adversity, even when he was losing, he still in his mind had to have the idea that he was winning. And they created a dog that would come out of that corner no matter what. Because inside the heart of that dog, with time, with decades and decades and decades, over 100 years before they came to America, those dogs, they already had courage in them. And by accident, courage came along together, mixed with a twin brother called loyalty. So in America, they discovered together that there was a dog that they needed to win, had to have courage. And that the dog that had courage was also loyal. And the more they bred the dog for loyalty, the courage also came along the way. So they were breeding dogs that were nice and balanced, and they had something called temperament. The idea of temperament became important in the breeding program, and no other breed that today is a pet has ever gone through that process. So by definition, these bare knuckle fighters that became boxers, these guys gave birth to the American Pitbull Terrier, to the half and a half dog, to the pit dog that came to America. And that's why John L. Sullivan, the first Queenberry rules fighter boxer, was in love with the fighting dog. That was a pet, that was nice, that was calm, that was not looking for trouble. But if trouble came to him, trouble will be smashed. Because inside the American Pitbull Terrier, there is no competition. There's only winning by superiority. That's why back in the old days, in the 1800s or the 1900s, when the dogs were losing but they were game, they were screaming Chilindrina style, trying to come out. They had to pick them up game and take them home. They have to save them from their own desire to win and never give up. It didn't matter how hard they were, they will come out because they were going against their own right to preserve themselves, and they'll continue going. So they save them, bring them home, the mama, the father, everybody who worked together. And they were lawyers, they were attorneys, they were judges, they were businessmen. Society had everyone involved in it because there was no other form. There was no NFL, NBA. They didn't have even light in America at the time. You understand? So having the right dog, it was everything for them. Having the right horse was everything for them. So they wanted to have the racing horse. They wanted to have the fighting dog. But the fighting dog became the nanny dog because courage came together with loyalty. That's why. Courage and loyalty. Boxing. Boxing was birthed from the same men that created bare knuckle fighting in Ireland and in the UK, and the same men that developed the great-grandfathers of the American Pitbull Terrier. In America, through the process of bloodlines, a few selected men, branded men, started to develop something that you got the name as a breed of American Pitbull Terrier. And only the most elite men are the only ones that count. Not everyone that owns the dogs. If you had a dog from What's the dog? You say, it's a Pitbull. Where you got it from that guy? Oh, no. If you didn't get it from this specific guy, it's not a real Pitbull. So America lost that when they started coming up with we had the pedigree, and we had this, and then you started breeding the dog because this pedigree with this pedigree, and then all these registries, all these associations, all the other stuff, they got you away from the real dog, and they lost the dog. Back in 1990, I created a time capsule, just a capsule like that, to preserve something. And I took the best dogs of the 1990s, the best bloodlines. I went through a study. I studied so hard. It was an analysis, a deep analysis without having influence of nobody. And I picked up the best performing bloodlines. And I picked up the best members on each one of those bloodlines. And I put them together. And then I elevated them 100 times X and created something that they didn't have, which was the global grand champions, the global champions, the dogs of the year on one bloodline, cluster over cluster over cluster of great dogs. And I created something special that was not anymore the same dog that later on the same members back in the 90s or relatives of these dogs that I had from the 90s, they became watered down, they became the swamp, while my dogs became the golden vein, the apex of the American Pitbull Terrier, the very best dogs ever. And so in 2024 going forward, what I'm holding between my hands is literally a time capsule. I didn't allow other men to come and destroy and put their filthy hands, breeders or kennels, into these dogs, and I preserve them for the best American families in the world. So children that otherwise without me will never have access to have dogs like this. You can ask Gabriel Zambrano. He has 6 children. His wife was afraid of dogs because a fake pit bull beat her, and now they enjoy Capitan. You can ask these great owners of mine, which one time there will be hundreds, one time there will be thousands, and there will be the debunking that American Pit Bull Terriers are bad dogs. I'm proving that select American Terrier, American Pit Bull Terrier dogs in the hands of the right men, in the hands of the brand men, the elite level men, can become the best dog in the world, the best dog experience. I have a guy called David Dennis, CEO of one of the biggest non-profit organizations, over $450 million, and he owned nothing but pit bulls. He understands those dogs were much compared to what he got now, called Taiso Tesoro, and that is his dog, and he loves and enjoys the dog. He's a pet. Cris Cyborg with Canelo and Holly, amazing dogs. These dogs are not your average pit bull dog. They are not your average bully breed dog, your watered down, your mutant dog, your blue nose, your XL, your double X, your triple X. These are time capsule dogs from the 1990s, from the golden vein of Chico Lopez, the best of the best, the apex of the American Pit Bull Terrier. 123 pitbulls.com. Chico Lopez. Save the breed, elevate the breed, preserve the breed for great American families. Not for breeders, not for dog fighters, only for great families to impact society in a positive way.